Hello and welcome to Talking Whiskey. My name is Grant and today I'm going to be talking the Balcones Texas Single Malt. Now Balcones is in Waco, Texas, and they first founded back in 2008 and they've kind of become pretty well-known whiskey distillery in America, and they're one of the forefront guys in Texas at the moment. Cards on the table, I adore them, one of my favorite distilleries. Let's just get that out of the way. But yeah, they're pretty amazing, and the Texas Single Malt is kind of their flagship. This is what we're all about. So you've got the True Blue, which is like one of their main core ranges. That's probably one of their most accessible whiskeys. This is kind of like almost their pride and joy. And this was the original one that they did. Now, the Texas Single Malt is actually made from 100% malted barley. Now, I believe that they use Golden Promise. Now, Golden Promise is a strain of barley that was used a lot in Scotch whiskey. A lot of distilleries in Scotland aren't using it as much anymore. They're using a different barley now, but certainly Balcones have been sourcing that grain, and that's what they're making the Texas Single Malt out of. So let's get it poured. There we go. Now, when they do their aging of the single malt, so they're using, or they certainly used to use, a lot of different barrel sizes and some of the smaller 5-gallon barrels. So they would kind of have them in for process, then they would put them in and finish them in ex-bourbon casks, or kind of do them in ex-bourbon casks. Now, I believe that Balcones have started to move away from the 5-gallon barrels, so I'm not sure how their whole process is working on it, but it's pretty good. So, as with always in my tastings, I'm going to do a minimum of 3 notes on the nose and a minimum of 3 notes on the taste. So, let's go in for the nose. Oh. Oh God, that is so good. Oh, it's amazing. It's like, okay, here's where Balcones, this is where the Texas Single Malt is amazing. This could, if you didn't know it was from America, this could trick you into being a Scotch. It is so good. Like, you've got this lovely kind of, almost like a Speyside feel to it, where you've got this light caramel, this honey going on in there as well, and then you're getting that maltiness through it as well, that kind of malty grain, but it's not overpowering. It's kind of, it's quite sweet, it's quite pleasant. Oh, so good. Now, also something that I get with Balcones, so these are 2 notes that you don't necessarily find in Scotch, but it's something I get in every Balcones to varying levels, is there's like a burnt toffee in there. Like you're cooking it away, and you're trying to make toffee in a pan, you're cooking it, and it doesn't burn, but it gets slightly burnt. That kind of burnt toffee smell to it. It's really nice. And then also there's this kind of dark, rich molasses going on in there as well, like a real reduced molasses. But they're quite subdued. A lot of the forefront of these notes and these noses are your kind of typical Speyside notes, that kind of real nice honey, that caramel. There's a little bit of like a sweet floral in there, but it's only really small. But it's so nice. Oh, word of warning, this comes in at 53%, so there is a bit of alcohol punch in this. It's not, well, for me, it's not overpowering, but it could be, so do be warned. Right, let's go for the taste. I'm looking forward to this. Oh my God. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Balcones, yes. So that's just outstanding. So you've got this kind of real nice, lovely caramel sweetness. You've got the honey in there as well. It's like honey on bread as well. So you've got a bit of, it's like a bit of brown malted bread with some butter on it, and you've put honey on there. That's there on the taste. You've got that little bit of burnt toffee. The molasses comes out a little bit more on the taste. It kind of brings in that kind of sweetness to it. It's just, I'm going in again. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. Look, the Texas Single Malt, year after year, has won so many awards. They've won World Whiskey of the Year award a few times. They've won like best in class a good few times. And in the US, they've won best single malt like 2014, 2015, I think 2016. They picked up a gold award as well at the San Francisco one back in 2018 for it. They're just picking up awards all the time for the Texas Single Malt. And I can see why. It's incredible. It's so incredibly unique, and yet there's something so familiar about it. Like you've got for me, the Balcones notes of that burnt toffee and that molasses that are kind of typical Balcones things. But then you've got this feel of a Speyside Scotch in there. But then you've also got this big alcohol punch that's coming from the 53%. You've got the big impact of the Texas heat going on. So it feels so familiar in that it could be a Speyside Scotch, but there's still so much unique stuff going on in it. Yeah, that's good. Right, I'm gonna put some water in it and let's see what happens when we put the water in it. I'm only gonna do a tiny bit. Maybe a wee bit more. That wasn't enough. That definitely wasn't enough. There we go. That little drop did make a difference. Now whilst we let that way, these are the exact same. I've got 2 bottles and I wanted to have 2 bottles just to show off a tiny bit because I love it. Right, now we've given that a wee bit of time with the water, let's go back and check out the nose and see what's happened. Oh. So that kind of, no, I know I didn't say it much before, but I think that's because I'm used to it. Before the water, you do have a bit of an alcohol punch in there as well. With a little bit of water, that is tamed down a wee bit, but obviously you're slightly proofing it down. So that has been tamed down a wee bit. But you've still got those kind of real lovely Speyside notes. Yeah, that honey, that caramel, that kind of maltiness. It's almost a little bit of malted bread. So I said that on the taste. I meant to say that on the nose the first time round. Apologies. And you know what? The water is definitely bringing out a little bit more of that sweet floral note as well. Almost like honeysuckle. Like it's brought it out a tiny bit more. I mean, you've still got the burnt toffee. You've still got the molasses in there as well. Again, they're always there for me. Oh, that is so nice. Also, I just wanted to say, these notes might sound fairly simple, and they are on the surface, but there is a lot going on in this glass. There's a lot of the kind of the order that they're coming out, the nuances, the way that you could go for one smell, get one note a little bit more, and then get another note a little bit more. There is a lot going on in here. Oh yeah. Right, let's go for a taste. Oh. Oh wow. The water has just exploded the sweetness. Oh, that's beautiful. So like this kind of real floral sweetness is now just exploded when the water's been added. Again, still got a lot of the typical notes in there, the kind of burnt toffee, the molasses, but that molasses has almost come, what's the step up from molasses? Like jam. I mean, it's not jam, but that would be a step up from molasses, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's just exploding with vibrance now. Again, so that sweetness is coming out a lot more, that kind of honey's coming out. You've still got that kind of honey on the bread too. There's definitely more of a floral thing coming through as well. The burnt toffee, still there. The molasses has become, yeah, I'm gonna stick with jam. It's not jam, and I don't know what kind of jam, but I'm gonna stick with jam. It's that kind of step up. Yes, that kind of step up in sweetness. That's really good. Oh yeah, that is really good. And actually the water's now bringing out a little bit of an oaky note as well, that I wasn't getting without the water. So yeah, that kind of the real big heavy wood effect that comes from certainly the Waco climate, that's now coming through a little bit more. It's good. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's in my top 3 list. Now I've got kind of I'm weird. I've got two top 3 lists. I've got a top 3 list of whiskies I can definitely buy again, and I've got a top 3 list of whiskies that maybe don't exist anymore. But this for me is one of my absolute top 3 whiskies. It's just, there's something so amazing about having a whiskey from Texas with so much in common with a Speyside Scotch. And yet it's got its own unique flair to it. It's got its own feel to it. It's got the Balcones feel of the burnt toffees, the molasses. You've got that wood effect coming from the Waco climate, that real hot Texas climate. There's just enough going on in here that just makes it, I said it before, it's familiar and yet different at the same time. And to me, that's what makes this whiskey just so outstanding. If you're fairly new to whiskey, I think this might be a little bit too strong. I mean, it comes in at 53%, and if you're not ready for it, it will blow your socks off a wee bit. Now, I know I wasn't saying that much in this video. I think it's because I've got used to this whiskey so much now. I drink it quite often, and the proof in it and the alcohol in it doesn't affect me as much anymore. I think when I first had it, that was one of the first things that I noted was, cool, that's quite strong. But yeah, if you're new to whiskey, this might be a little bit too strong for you. If you're into your scotches and you want to try something a little bit different that still feels familiar, oh my God, give this a try. If you're into your American whiskeys, and more important, if you're into American malts, definitely give this one a try. I think anyone can give it a try. If you're new, it could give you a little bit of a kicking. Maybe add some water to it or something so you can proof it down a wee bit. But yes, this was never going to be an objective video. I'm not going to lie, it was never going to be objective because top 3. Yep, top 3 this. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you like it? Would you recommend it as a new one? I mean, I don't think I would, but who would you recommend it to? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, cheers to you all.